Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to your favorite podcast, the Pals Podcast. If you are a new listener, we thank you for joining us. Please remember to like, subscribe, review all those fun things. If you're a returning listener, we thank you for your continued support. I'm your pal, Ricky Liordi, and the other co-host is my good pal, George Boutsalis, who's not in the intro today as we are recording this virtually. Without further ado, let me get right on into this. This episode, we had Luke Gulbranson straight from his log cabin in Minnesota, out in the wilderness. If you don't know who Luke is, he's super talented and just all-around great guy. He was a star of the Bravo TV show Summer House. We obviously discussed that show and some of the drama and his romance with Hannah Berger and some of the other storylines that we obviously discussed. If you didn't see it, the Summer House reunion part 1 and part 2 just recently released. So he might have told us a little bit about some insights into that, which was obviously really fun. He's just an overall great dude. He coaches kids hockey. Builds things. He's got a company, R.Co, Ranger Co, where he designs jewelry. He's got cologne, clothes, everything. He was recording this outside in the wilderness and just overall great guy. So Luke, we thank you for coming on the podcast. You're an absolute beauty. We hope to see you in Toronto for some cold ones while we catch a Leaf game or a Raptor game or something fun. And speaking of cold ones, we'd like to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, Cottage Springs. Cottage Springs Vodka Water is the first vodka water cooler in Canada. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and 100% Canadian. They've got raspberry, lime, strawberry, kiwi, and the Cottage Springs Vodka Water pack. Delicious. It comes with delicious flavors. And you're definitely going to want to check out some of these at your local LCBO. They also recently just released their new Vodka Lemonade, and I don't need to tell you anymore. It's honestly amazing. We just keep going. We go through them quicker than we can get our hands on them. So if you haven't seen them, they're a little black can at your local LCBO. So definitely pick that up. And, obviously the mixed pack comes with, Ontario Peach Vodka Soda, Watermelon Vodka Soda, Lemon Lime Vodka Soda, and the exclusive Wild Cherry Vodka Soda. So those are 100 calories, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, and fully Canadian. So pick up that at your local LCBO. And thank you, Cottage Springs. You guys are awesome. We'd like to give another shout out to CAST. If you don't know what CAST is the Objective Assembly of Public Opinion. It is a social voting platform which is available on the Google and Apple App Store today. Essentially, this is an app where you can go and share your honest opinions without the fear of reprisal. We wanted to create a safe space online where you can share your thoughts and opinions and really see what else other people think. So check it out. Go to www.joincast.co, or you can even hit us up on Instagram at joincast.co. And without further ado, let's jump right into this episode. LFG.
We're in. Luke, it's nice to have you on, and I love the fact that you're doing this outside. You're probably our first guest to do this outside.
Really? Thanks, man. It's, being at the lake, I'd rather be indoors than outdoors, although it is outdoors than indoors, but it is kind of cold. It's like supposed to be 29 degrees here tonight, which is pretty cold.
See, it's funny because you're Fahrenheit, we're Celsius. I'm like 29. That's nice and warm, but Fahrenheit, that's freezing cold.
Yeah, where are you guys at now?
We're in Toronto, Canada.
Toronto? Nice, man. Very cool.
Yeah, have you ever been?
I haven't. I have friends from there. And there's actually somebody I coach in hockey privately in the city from Toronto. We talk a lot of hockey when we're working together. He's a big Leafs fan. So are you guys Leafs fans?
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
That's awesome. So you guys hate the Habs or what?
Basically, that's our job, to hate the Habs.
Yeah, right? It's like part of the religion up there, isn't it?
Basically. But Luke, I love that you're in Minnesota. Tonight's the part 2 of the reunion, Summer House reunion. Normally, I would assume you would be in the city doing these big PR things, and you're here with us, the pals.
Yeah,
at home at the lake.
Perfect. It's perfect, man. I get a little break from the city for a while, and unfortunately, it's not much of a vacation, so I'm too busy renovating my house. But it's just nice to get out of the city, and I enjoy doing the work and stuff. So it's great. It's great to be on with you guys. My accent's going to get real thick since I'm talking to you three. You know that, right?
Love it.
I can hear bits of it. I can hear it every now and then sprinkled in.
Yeah, you're going to hear it. The more and more we talk, it's going to get deeper. And I'm going to try hard for it not to come out. Like right there, I said out, and I tried to fight it instead of saying out.
Well, we know you've got a lot going on. obviously, you know, Summer House reunion part 2 is tonight. What was your thoughts and reactions after part 1?
You know, I felt like there was a lot of stuff left on the table. There was a lot of meat on the bone still that everybody kind of had to hash out and go through. So I felt like us coming together for a reunion was a really good thing for everybody to be able to get everything out and move forward from things. You know, whether or not we all got everything out that we wanted to, I mean, you know, you have so much time to talk. I feel like there's still a lot more that could be talked about, but it's great it was still great to be able to get some of it out and you know, kind of just air everything out and try and move forward. But like I said, I still think there's some things that, you know, maybe need to be talked about for sure. You know, I don't think everybody's completely over everything yet, but you know, it is what it is, and time will tell.
I do think, though, that this season you got vindicated in a sense, because last season, Hannah kind of portrayed you in a light that was a little bit, in my mind now, she gaslighted you. And this season, and then this season, it's like, I didn't appreciate her. You guys would have a conversation, and then she would go to the girls, and then only 90%, 90% wasn't even talked about. And she would just kind of twist things. And then it kind of made me realize that the reason why you had so much conflict with the girls the first season was because when you meet someone new and you're hearing something about someone, obviously you're going to think a certain light about them. And then this season, it was kind of brought to a head because really you guys didn't date for 9 months.
No, we didn't. Exactly. One thing I'm super thankful for is the majority of the audience sees through the bullshit.
Yeah.
And you just gave kind of like a really great definition or description of kind of how things are. That first summer, I mean, I didn't communicate a whole lot with people because I'm like, I keep things a little closer to my chest than most people, I guess. Yeah. I wasn't aware of what Hannah was saying behind my back. But what she was saying was not what I was communicating to her when we were away. What I would communicate to her was very much like, I'm a mess. I almost got engaged. This is how I feel. This is where I'm at. You're free to see other people. You're free to date, like sleep, do anything you want. And you don't need to tell me. You don't owe me anything. This is fun. I don't know if we'll be friends. I don't know if we'll date, but this is my truth. I'm 3 months removed from like a really serious, crazy relationship. And she would relay, I don't know what he's doing. He's leading me on. And I'm like, what? That's not it at all. I've communicated with you so well. I do take responsibility though in, you know, some of my actions, definitely, you know, could have led her on, but at the same time, you know, she's really taken zero responsibility for anything, involved with myself and her. And that's been a bit frustrating. And then going into this season, I mean, it was just kind of like, you know, that winter, we didn't talk. We hardly talked at all. Like she was dating other people, living her life. I was dating somebody for a while. In the springtime, I came here, we had COVID. We talked, you know, we talked a bit and, you know, we actually talked in March and she's like, so what are we? And I told her, I said, I think we're better off as friends. You know, yeah. That rabbit just ran by. That's so funny. But she goes, I think we're better off as friends. Or I said, I think we're better off as friends. And she actually verbatim said, well, then it's a good thing we never slept together, hooked up, because this would be a lot harder. And, I was just like, yeah, like there was a reason why, like, I care about you. I didn't want to hurt you. Like, you know, and then of course she would be like, he held sex for me to manipulate me and do this. And I'm like, no, dude, like I was literally trying to do what I thought was the right thing, but I still got in trouble no matter what I did. So, it is what it is. And, you know, we did talk a bit throughout the spring, and Hannah had, she would FaceTime me and screenshot it and put little hearts in her eyes. And I didn't add it up, but like other people would be like, dude, she's making it look like you're dating. Yeah. And I'd be like, no, like we're just friends, you know? And then with how things went this summer, I was like, wow, you totally played me like a fiddle. Like, that's wild. Like,
I wanted to ask, to jump like on that part too, as well, to ask a question. Do you think, like you said, you shared your truth kind of thing and just put it all out there, you know, being fully transparent and everything, more from like a broad perspective, from like a reality TV perspective, do you think that the assumptions made and what you were being accused of was truthfully what she thought, or do you think possibly a little bit I don't know, fabricated, but like salted it up a little? I don't know what the term is, like, embellished it a bit.
Yeah, well, one thing I should say, I shouldn't say my truth. It's the truth. I apologize, because I don't like to say it's my truth, because it's the truth. I'm not Hannah, so I can't speak for her, but I know, being the person on the receiving end of it, I felt like, well, the fact that she takes zero responsibility, that she was just talking to me like this a week ago, and all of a sudden is like, we're dating, when she knows we're like, I know she's like seeing somebody. I was like, she's like, I don't get it. Like, I don't like, I was very confused. And like I said, I'm just extremely thankful that the audience has kind of seen through the bullshit of how things have been. And because I don't really go on podcasts a whole lot and talk about things a whole lot. And I feel like she's on a podcast every other day, if not every day. Like,
she's on a rampage. She's on a full rampage.
What's that?
You're on the only podcast that matters. That's it.
Hannah's on like a full-on gaslighting rampage to deflect from what she's done. I'm telling you.
Well, what I thought was always interesting is Hannah likes to use social media for things. It's quite fascinating. She's really good at what she does, but it comes at the expense of other people. And it's not just me. There's other people, as you see, throughout the season that have their issues with her too. But the one thing I can say is, Hannah will like go and post something saying, I was in a situationship and so was a narcissist or a sociopath, and they led me on, and she leans into it in the sense of like, they're gaslighting me. And at the end of the day, the only person that's getting gaslit are the people that are drinking her Kool-Aid. Like, she's the one that's gaslighting the audience and gaslighting people on social media and stuff. And it's like, but that's not my control. I can't control what she's doing. I see it. But then, like, some people drink the Kool-Aid and believe it. It is what it is.
Sorry, but I loved what Danielle said in Reunion Part 1 when she was like, when Hannah using the buzzwords like toxic masculinity, and Danielle was like, you're the one that keeps bringing it up. You're the one creating the toxic energy and creating the situations that you're kind of feeling uncomfortable in. Like, she's just kind of like the puppet master and all of it, but then complaining about what she's created.
Basically, like. I don't even know what you said gaslighting. I don't know, but like what you would call that. But yeah, when you've got a group of friends sitting there having a conversation, and you've got like 3/4 of them all telling you certain things, and you don't take any accountability or responsibility for it, that's a problem. You got to figure that out. You know what I mean? At some point in time, you have to look in the mirror and like check yourself, because like, not everybody's coming at you for a wrong reason or a bad reason. Like, part of growing up is being able to hold yourself accountable or take responsibility for things, or just trying to listen. But that's kind of tough with Hannah. She doesn't like to listen. So,
Luke, I wanted to ask, do you think the drama on air is connected to the drama off air, or do you think it's heightened so much more on air?
No, we're very real. Like, we're real friends. Like, I feel like the big issue here that we've kind of all had is at the end of the day, like, we're all different, right? So you're going to have different opinions, different morals, different values, different things, and things come to heads. Like, you have your arguments or your conversations that you need to have. That's just normal, but there's a respect and a love and a decency and a real friendship and care amongst us all. And, outside of maybe Hannah, who doesn't care about there's no empathy, doesn't care, at least it seems through her actions and what she's done about other people. We're real friends. So what there's nothing that gets heightened. It's just real friends hanging out, having fun. And the stuff that happens away from it, like, I literally talk to Carl, Lindsay, Kyle, like Amanda, everybody all the time. Like, what's up? How you doing? That's great. How'd your meeting go? How'd your job thing go? Like, it's just normal talk. Like, you guys talk to each other probably, so yeah, I don't, so to answer that in a long way, I guess answer that in like a really long way. Like, I don't feel like anything's really heightened. We're just if it's heightened at one point in time, that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? So.
Gotcha.
We didn't. And did we give context to mention why Jordan knows so much about this? And like, I don't think we told you. Before you got on, we were talking, and Jordan. So Jordan is our manager, but is the biggest fan of not just the show, but also of you. We're gonna put the spot here a little bit.
He's gonna start blushing soon.
Jordan's like handles. She's in at every episode. She jumps in every now and then, but like she's like been behind the camera, so to speak. Usually, we said you got to join us for this one. You know, she got to meet her crush.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Jordan. I'm probably as red as my hat right now.
No, Luke, you should have seen though. I wrote them like a couple notes. I wrote a synopsis of the drama. Like I should have been a novelist.
That's hilarious. That's great. So you guys got the rundown. That's awesome. So
we did.
You guys got all the details. You got a lot to work with here.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact that you don't do many podcasts makes this even more exciting, right?
Yeah, I don't do a whole lot, man. I mean, I do, but not really. I'm so busy. Like, you know, some people really lean into the podcast thing. I wish I could, because I love to, if it helps bring light to a certain podcast or something, I'd love to be able to help people, but I've got a lot going on, so I don't get too many. I mean, you guys are literally talking to me. I was just cutting wood like 15 minutes ago and hanging wood.
Well, I was gonna say, this is a perfect transition to everything you're doing now. I know you've got your own business, you coach kids hockey, you've got another show. Let's start with kind of some of the stuff you're doing right now. What's obviously you're working around the house, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so you know, I came home because I know I have some stuff coming up in New York that I can't miss. So I try and get like some time here early June, but I had to come back earlier in May for, you know, because of work. So yeah, I'm here. I have a place on a lake, thankfully. Thank God, it's amazing. You know, I've been renovating it. It was a cabin. I made it a year-round home. So I've just lots of woodwork inside, Pendleton stuff, or Hudson Bay, I think is the Canadian way of saying it.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of that stuff, and I'm putting fireplaces in, and, you know, building a garage with living quarters and a place where I can work on motorcycles. And I'm building a workshop for the company and stuff, because, you know, when you're handcrafting jewelry and you have inventory on your apparel and your fragrances and stuff, it's like I keep all that stuff at my parents' house in like this massive storage space. and
I get it.
Ship for me. So I'm going to have my workshop out here, which is going to be pretty cool. And then, yeah, man, I mean, I actually was just talking to my buddy, who's my assistant coach. They have tryouts right now, and I'm not there because I'm here. So he's got to send me a list of the kids of, you know, who he thinks it would fit where and what's going on. And then I'll go over things with the head of our youth hockey and get ready for next year's season in the fall. And yeah, busy with that, busy with the business, you know. And then, I mean, honestly, my head's spinning half the time. So I'm so busy, but and then there's other things with like acting. There's some things going on too. I can't talk about it, but there's some things that might be in the works. We'll see. So
I saw you had a Harley.
Yeah, I've got a couple Harleys. I'm a big motorcycle guy, so love to ride motorcycles and play guitar and do woodwork and make jewelry and spend time in the woods, man. It's just kind of
I love it. Good old. I feel like that's your vibe. That's just you.
Yeah, it's
open road.
You know, northern Minnesota. It's just the way I was raised. So I think as people, we all find comfort in like things from our childhood or the ways that we were raised, or, you know, maybe our uncles or grandfather, things they taught us. And when I'm in those elements, I guess is when I'm at my most comfortable and I enjoy that probably the most, I think.
So what's it like then, going from like, you know, being a, you know, Minnesota guy up in the north, you know, cutting wood and doing this with your hands, and then going to like a big city like New York? Do you like the kind of the disparity between the two? Is it a nice change of pace, or is it not really your environment being there?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. You know, when I first started modeling out in New York, I hated the city. I hated it, man. But over time, the city really grew on me. And, you know, I don't think there's a city any city in the world that's greater than New York. It has so much to offer, and there's so much going on, and it gets real small when you live there long enough. And I feel like New York's a great place when you really create a great friend group. And I've got a really great group of friends. You know, it's funny because, you know, between like Lindsay and Carl and Kyle and Amanda and, you know, Danielle and then Robert and then, you know, Lindsay Stravy and then, you know, all these people, it's funny because like they're my group of friends, but I have like my hockey buddies too. And then I have friends from like acting and friends from music and friends from modeling. And it's funny because a lot of like my hockey friends have become friends with like Carl, and I'm like, what are you doing, Carl? Carl's like, oh yeah, I'm at Polly's hanging out with him and Andreas and like Matt's, and I'm like, well, okay, where's my
invite?
Yeah. But I love it, man. And because of that, like, when I am here, I touch base with everybody quite often because I miss them a lot. I'm very lucky to have amazing friends. So I feel very lucky.
That's awesome.
Also, I mean, obviously having the two different worlds and from a geographic perspective, I guess, but also doing so many different things. Do you thrive in those environments? Like, do you like to be, I don't want to say a jack of all trades. I'm sure there's things you prefer and you're maybe more your craft, but do you like to dabble in a little bit of everything? Does it help keep you balanced, or what's your mindset on that?
Yeah, no, great question too, man. Well, first
George, you're killing it.
Let's go.
That's Jordan. Jordan's helping out, man. No, you know, first off, I do want to say I do like to be able to come to like the lake house and then spend time in the city. I like to balance both. I do prefer the country over the city. But as far as, you know, being a jack of all trades, you know, something that I take pride in as a person is being able to do everything I can. I think as people, the more you can do, the more powerful or more knowledge you have, the better off you are in life in general. So if there's something I don't know how to do, I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to tackle that, or I'm going to learn that just because I'll be a better person because of it. And, you know, with my brand is like with my clothing and everything, I wanted it to be a brand that's not just for somebody, but for everybody. And I wanted my clothing to be multifunctional in the sense of, like you can wear a guy's Henley and you can chop wood, or you can put a blazer on with it or something, you know, for an example, because I want every man or woman that like, you know, that likes the brand or is interested in the brand or buying something from the brand. I want them to understand that I believe in like a Renaissance lifestyle, and I want it to be able to like, I want people to take pride in doing as much as I can. I want my product to do as much as it can, and be more than just not just be dimensional in so many different ways, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yes, that's another long way of answering your question, but I wanted to tie in the brand because that's a big part of my company, is the Renaissance lifestyle, like the Renaissance man or woman. I think that's very important. And it's just badass. The more you can do, it's fucking cool, man.
Yeah,
you know, like,
I would agree 100%. And by the way, don't worry about like when you say it's a long way of saying it, Ricky and Jordan can attest. I'm the king of that. I'll ask me like, hey, what's your favorite color? And I'll tell them my life story about what my favorite color is. I do it all the time, but, no, it's really cool. I think I would agree. I don't want to speak for everybody, but you know, I mean, if you're going to pursue a career in being a professional, a doctor, lawyer, you got to go deep into something. But if you're not, I think it really is like invaluable to just know, you know, you don't want to scrape the surface on everything, but to know a little bit about a lot just makes you can kind of relate to people easier. You understand a little bit how the world works better. And then when you start to chase certain pursuits or projects, I guess you can kind of tap into different things for inspiration, which I think is super important. You're not like, you don't have blinders on almost, which I mean, I can relate to that. And I think it's a good skill and trait to kind of have.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think it's important. And, you know, some people are cool just sitting on the couch and hanging out or whatever, but that's just not in me, man. I'm a Capricorn. I think I just want to grind and try and work my ass off till I succeed.
Wait, is that a Capricorn trait?
I think so. They're hard workers and they're usually successful. That's what I don't know much.
I'm a Virgo. I don't believe in any of this astrology stuff. I'm a Virgo.
I don't either.
Everyone's like, oh, you're such a Scorpio, and I'm like, all right, cool. I guess I am. Whatever. I understand how the way the stars are can tell you how you are or who you are to be, but on the note of,
that's funny. I don't believe in a lot of that shit. I just know that if
you are a Capricorn,
I'm a lot of those things.
Okay, gotcha. Before we switch over and start talking more about your brand, because I do want to get into that. On the topic of learning how to do something, what's your school of thought? How do you learn? Do you find someone who knows how to do it, have them teach you, or are you the school of YouTube and Google?
You know, I feel like with the internet these days, you've got the world at your fingertips when it comes to learning. You know, when I learned guitar, for instance, I was living in a model apartment back in the day. It's so funny, right?
You're making Jordan blush here. I can just look at her. She's glowing.
Oh, that's hilarious.
She's going to ask you to play a song for her later.
Oh, Jesus.
100%.
Good Lord. So I was maybe I will. We'll see. But I printed, like, I went on the internet and I printed off, and then I would just use the internet on like pictures on where your fingers go. I didn't like YouTube it because I thought I thought reading it would just be better for me. And that's how I learned to play guitar, just like that, and just playing a lot. And then as far as jewelry, even, like, I just taught myself and learned. And then my mom's like, you realize your great grandpa was a blacksmith, you know, you realize your dad used to make jewelry. And I was like, oh shit. Okay, cool. Like, I didn't know that.
Runs in the family.
And there's just, you know, so I feel like, you know, reading books is important. I don't think people read enough these days, to be honest with you. I think reading is super important. You can learn a lot reading. And yeah, just God, I'm sorry. There's like 6 rabbits just ran across my driveway. I can't help it. I can't help it. Like, you should see this fat little chunky rabbit that he had a hard time getting across it. It was hilarious. So you're gonna see that. But anyway, yeah. So for sure. I don't really think there's any rhyme or reason for things unless you're going to school to be a doctor or lawyer. You can do anything you want in life, and you can do that just by, you know, pounding the pavement, turning through books, reading the internet, watching videos, and just putting in the time on something, I guess. Yeah.
What about
I'm going to steal this question because George usually would ask it. What book are you currently reading?
I actually don't have zero time to read a book right now, but I just read 112 page movie script the other night. I had to read that.
Okay.
So that was the latest reading I did. And then I've been reading a lot about boats lately because I'm looking at getting a new boat. So so I've been reading a lot.
Good thing to be reading on right now, especially with summer creeping around the corner.
I know, right?
It's actually, we got a place up. My family's got a place up about an hour out of Toronto on the lake. And I know that people have been looking like crazy for boats in Ontario, and there is like a shortage of boats in Canada. I think I don't know. Maybe that's everywhere just because of the situation the world is in, but the boating industry was booming last year.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a shortage. I have a pretty good relationship with the company Taiga Boats. They're a great company, great people. And I was just talking to them because I ideally would like to get one of their boats. And they're like, it's insane right now, Luke. You have no idea how crazy it is with inventory. So it's the same here. I bought 6 2x4s the other day and it was like $54.
Well, that's like the COVID surcharge. Ever since COVID, 2x4s skyrocketed. It used to be like $3 each.
Yeah, they were $2.50.
Like 12 or 15.
Yeah, it's insane. I'm like, I was gonna build a deck on the front of the house on the lakeside this year. I was like, fuck that, man.
I'm going back to New York. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Next year, I'm like finishing this project inside, and after that, I'm just gonna try and have at least 2 weeks to ride the bikes, get on the wheeler, do a little fishing, hang out with some friends.
Yeah.
You know,
a buddy of ours that actually lives in Thunder Bay, which is, I think it's just across the lake from you guys, if I'm not mistaken, in Canada. He actually just got a boat.
Did he? Nice.
Yeah, he got, George, you remember what kind of boat Dom got?
I don't, but I also did not know Thunder Bay was across the lake from Minnesota. That's news to me.
Isn't it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it is. It's okay. So you, like, if I was to, like, there's a highway.
I'm Googling this right now.
No, you can take a highway right to the North Shore of Lake Superior. You shoot up the North Shore of Lake Superior, go through Grand Marais, Grand Portage, and then you're in Thunder Bay.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a geography student too, so I should probably know this, but I was like, I'm trying to picture on a map. What is Ricky talking about?
No, yeah, it's right up there. It's right on North. Take the North.
Yeah, it's up the lake.
I had a hockey tournament up there. I was playing AAA hockey when I year Pee Wees. We had a tournament up there.
Luke, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Oh fuck, man, I can't tell you. I'm 37.
Oh, because I played AAA hockey too. And we'd always play in those tournaments, and teams from Minnesota would always come down. Yeah. Minnesota and Detroit were the big ones that we always played with.
For sure. Where'd you play? Like, what cities up there were you playing in?
So we used to play Detroit Little Caesars, yep. Belle Tire. I can't remember the Minnesota team, but Belle Tire always whooped our ass.
Do you ever play? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say the Detroit team was always – the Little Caesars were always really good. Belle Tire always whooped our ass. I remember that for sure. I can't remember the Minnesota team. I played AAA for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. Yeah. I played on the Toronto Marlies for a couple of years and then the Toronto Young Nationals for a couple of years. I don't know if you remember either of those, but –
I know them, yeah, for sure. I was playing on we have like a select program here, Minnesota Selects, and then we had a junior North Star program and Team Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota Junior North Stars, yes.
Yep, and then we had Team Minnesota Blast was another one that I was on.
I don't know, and I never played that one.
But yeah, J Stars, man.
Yeah,
that's funny. That was fun. That was a fun time, man. The good old days when all you had to do was play hockey and do homework sometimes and chase girls around, I guess.
Did you I don't know, I'm not the biggest, I'm more of a basketball, baseball guy than hockey, but would the North Stars have been there kind of like Medano's time? Was that back in the day, or is that?
Yeah. No, Medano, first game I ever went to was Minnesota North Stars against the New York Rangers at, I think it was called the old Civic Center. And you'll correct me when you hear that, but I think it was the Civic Center is what it's called. And Mike Medano, Neil Broughton, like that was, I think Bob Gainey was the coach. Stu Gavin was on the team. Yeah, I think Tenorti was on the team back then too. If I remember right, I'm not quite sure, but I think that's the good old days. No, I love the Wild, but God, we have the worst logo in the league. It's brutal.
Terrible.
Yeah, but the boys are on fire, man.
Terrible.
They're playing good hockey though. I'm pleasantly surprised because I'm a big Wild fan, and I'm Kaprizov's a stud. The kid's on fire. Hopefully he'll win Rookie of the Year. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, we don't need to get into hockey talk because I could talk about
Well, hey, you coach a little bit of hockey now. Obviously, I'm just assuming that's because you played, you love the game, want to give back kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, people are like, well, what do you love to do? Or like, what do you love? And I'm like, well, my first love was hockey. So I always want to coach hockey or play hockey, play beer league with the guys and coach, and, being able to watch these kids take in, really listen and take things in and watch their growth throughout the season, and watching them come together on and off the ice it's probably one of the most rewarding, fulfilling things for me as a person. I love it. I love the kids. I love the families, and I feel very lucky to do it. So it's fun too, especially growing up in northern Minnesota. Just the way hockey is here, it's the way we're coached, how things are, and the level of play. Being able to bring that to the city, I feel like is pretty cool, and it makes me happy. I'm glad I can do it. So yeah, but that's how it is for everything, even with the business. Like when you make something for somebody and they're really happy with it, and they tell you how happy or how much they like the piece, it's fulfilling and rewarding as an actor, being able to tell a story and go to a place where you move people and somebody's actually crying when you're like doing a theater show, right? Because of your performance, that's fulfilling and rewarding. So I feel like for me as a person, those things are very, I like to do things that are fulfilling, I guess, in that sense, and coaching definitely it's right up there in the top of my.
Me and Georgie coached baseball a handful of years ago.
Oh,
Georgie came every now and then, but I did little kids baseball. I actually coached little kids hockey for a year with a buddy of mine. Tough early morning skates are always tough. 7 a.m. the rink's cold.
Oh God!
You got that like fogginess in the rink. You're like, I'm too old for this now.
Yeah, it's brutal when especially it depends on the age group you have, man. But if you have the young kids, they're usually there super early, and hopefully you're good. But God, maybe battling a hangover or something. You're
oh yeah. I know a couple of those Saturday morning practices. Okay, kids, you guys got to figure this one out today, boys.
Tie up your own skates.
That's it.
That's fine.
Okay, let's transition a little bit over to your business now. Obviously, you guys do a bunch of different things. You have the rings, the fragrances, the clothing. How did it start? Where'd you come up with the idea for it? Obviously, the wilderness is a big part of you and what you do, so you can see that kind of with the brand.
Yeah, so, basically what – as I said, I don't like to sit around. I always have to be doing something. I was home for Christmas a few years back, and I was dating the girl I was with for like 3 years, and I told my mom, I said, I'm gonna go in the garage and make a ring, I made a ring for her. I just got metal. I started getting torches and playing around.
You gotta be very careful when you say that, eh? I made a ring for a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Jordan's heartbroken listening to that.
Oh, that's Jordan.
Like,
I'm ready. I'll send you my address.
Okay, I'll send you one. I went out and I made her a ring, and I just did it for fun. It's like doing woodwork. I'd make her cool shit, whatever. And when I gave it to her, like I didn't know what to expect, but she was like, "This is awesome," and I was like, "Well, thanks. She's like, no, really, like, this is awesome to the point where like you should sell it. And I was like, no, I just made this for you. You know, this is like a one-time thing just for fun, whatever. And she was a very successful creative director, and she worked for Nike and like Beats by Dre, and she knew her shit. And so when we broke up, I listened to her. And you know what? If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have pursued it. And I did. And I threw some stuff on Instagram that summer. People ended up wanting it. And then I was like, all right, cool. Like, this is a hobby that I can make a job. And then from there, you know, with modeling and fashion, I was like, well, I've modeled for years. I understand fashion. I'd love to create a product that I think people would really like, both men and women. And so that's kind of where the apparel came from. And then I was like, well, I want to hand pour candles. Like, candles are really cool. And I love candles. So I just started making candles. I taught myself how to make candles. So that's how the candles came to be a part of it. And then one of my bucket list things I always wanted to do is to have a fragrance. And I actually was on a podcast, and somebody in Paris heard me talking about how I wanted to create a fragrance one day. And the gentleman worked for basically the top oil distribution company, and the company in the whole business of perfumes and cologne. And he goes, yeah, so I'm a fan of the show, and I was on the metro in Paris, and my girlfriend, she's American, whatever. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's full of shit. Like, he's Instagramming me, doesn't even have a face on the thing. I'm like, this is a crock of shit, but whatever. So I ended up having a conversation with the guy, and turns out, like, I was like, I followed his LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, maybe this is legit. I'm not sending any money yet. He's going to send me some samples. We're going to talk. And we had a meeting. We went over who I am as a person, what I want what the brand is, what I wanted the fragrances to be like. And so, yeah, I just kind of went from there. And then I learned a lot about glass bottles and spray tops because surprisingly, that is a very important thing in that business, and that and design. And so just went from there, and that's how the fragrances came to be. And I feel very lucky. I'm working with some really great people on that. And then, now I'm trying to get maple syrup actually into the company, because I like making maple syrup out of my maple trees on the property here. And I think that, if I can, that's something I'd like to bring to life with the company as well in time. So we'll see.
Maple syrup's a big Canadian thing.
Yeah.
Big Canadian thing. I was going to say A at the end of that too, just make it super Canadian.
The syrup?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I love that.
I was going to keep going on a little bit on this. If somebody's listening to this podcast that makes something super special, what's the next thing on your list that you want to make that you haven't quite made yet?
Wow. Well, the syrup thing is something I want to tackle. That's definitely something.
All right. So if we have any syrup makers listening to this podcast, you've got the new face of your syrup brand there.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. Let's get together and let's get after it. I'd love that. And then I'm actually just I take pride in small business and working locally with small business, but with my fragrances, I really want to get that into big retail. They're really good. Like, I'm not just saying it because they're mine. They're really good. Like,
love that.
Yeah. And that's something I want to do, is I want to get them into big retail. And that's actually been a bit difficult, but that's something I'm working on. So,
okay. Well, how can people buy your fragrance right now? Is it all online?
Yeah, you can buy everything online. I just started doing samples with the fragrance. So like every time somebody buys something from me, they get a sample of the women's perfume and the men's fragrance. And actually the men's fragrance is called Renaissance Man. And I wish I would have just called it Renaissance, because it's very unisex. Like my older sister wears Renaissance Man, and my youngest sister her name was Lily. So I'm like, all right. But yeah, everything you can find on my e-com store at arcoshop.com. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we'll definitely share all the links in the bottom on the caption and everything. But before we're going to start to wrap up soon, but before we do, Jordan, this is your chance. You have any other questions you want to ask? You want to serenade Luke? He's there waiting. This is your one shot.
I'm just curious. Like living in the suburbs for 6 weeks and seeing everyone on desk jobs, like what was it like, that juxtaposition of you going outside building your own table to do your rings, but everyone else in their rooms doing their desk jobs? Like, what was that feeling like?
Well, I think it's great that everybody works so freaking hard, and it's so fun to watch them succeed in everything they're doing. Actually, it's pretty badass. But you know, I do want to say I got a lot of slack for that table. That's pretty fucked up because we were quarantined, right? And it's not like I could go to Home Depot or like a store and get proper lumber and like make a real workbench. I had like scrap wood and I just needed to make something that could support my tools. And all these people are like, this fucking guy, let me tell you, he can't even make a fucking workbench. And I'm just like, good Lord, if you only knew. Anyway, it's pretty funny. But I enjoyed what I do and working outside. So like, it didn't bother me. Like, I respect everybody else and their grind and what they're doing indoors, you know, on the desk and stuff. The one thing I will say is that what I do is really loud and I felt really bad. I felt really bad because I'd be like, are you guys okay? Like, because I know you can hear this in here and I'm like banging and pounding and there. And I'm like, well, like I'm gonna be really loud for like the next 15. So if you're on a call, like tell me because I want to be respectful. You know, because I don't want to be a nuisance to people because they have to work too. But it all worked out. Everybody's so chill. They were like, Luke, no, go ahead. You know, like not a big deal. So it all worked out.
I have 2 more questions. I have these. What was your favorite day of Summer House? What event?
The boat day was the best day. That
looked like so much fun.
Yeah, we had the most fun of the summer, and I think you could ask anybody that was there on the boat and they would tell you the same thing. Everybody got lit up and had so much fun. It was so much fun. We were like just being out in the sun, you know, on a boat out on the ocean and swimming and just doing all the stuff we were doing, listening to music, and just it was awesome. Drinking tons of Loverboy and I drink tons of beer too. So
I've been dying to try Loverboy, but they don't sell in Canada yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know, they're I feel like they're almost in every state pretty much here now, but I'm sure they'll get up there eventually. They're grinding and working hard, and they're actually like their business it seems to be growing pretty rapidly, and it's interesting because there's just such a small group of them handling what probably usually a massive team or an army would handle, but they work their asses off, and I'm proud of them. It's great to see.
It's awesome. And this what's releasing tonight, part 2, you say something that's very shocking and you break the fourth wall to Hannah. I want to know from a scale from 1 to 10, what am I expecting it to be? How intense?
I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. I don't, but
you say it because this is going to be released later.
No, I can't say. I wish I could tell you, but I can't. And it's interesting. You're just gonna have to tune in and find out, I guess. But
I'll be tuning in.
You're gonna be DMing me later after you watch it, giving me shit or what?
Oh, she's gonna be DMing you for sure.
Just get ready. Honestly, Luke, I gotta be like in all transparency. Last season, I think my interpretation of you wasn't the most positive, just because of how it was relayed, and Hannah was just very kind of stuck to her guns that she's being emotionally manipulated. And come this season, I'm not the biggest fan of Hannah, and I'm a massive fan of you. And it's pretty wild how things change when you realize the person behind the words.
It's interesting. I hope it allows people to realize that sometimes when you think something about somebody, you don't necessarily know things. Like, it's fascinating because I'll tell you right now, I usually don't go out and say things that, like, I just bite my tongue and take it on the chin. And it's fascinating because I haven't really said anything this whole year. I just have let things, even when it's tough, like I'm like, oh my God, that's not true. Or like, that didn't happen. Like with her, like her line, you know, or her playing this shit with everybody. And it's like, there's so many times where it's like, I know I would love to explain myself and explain the truth. But I just bite my tongue and just let it play out because, you know, like I know like the truth between myself and Hannah, and she can go and say whatever she wants, which is what she does. And there's going to be a handful of people that are going to believe it. There's gonna be a handful of people that don't like me. Not everybody's going to like you. I mean, that's life. Right. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I feel like the majority of people have, like I said, I've seen through it. And honestly, I find comfort in that because it is pretty difficult when somebody is literally going above and beyond to manipulate things or say things and not say the truth. Wow, Jordan.
Jay. Wow, Jay.
It's not ending.
What is going on?
Oh my God, Jay.
Jesus, ruined the whole podcast.
Yeah, that, and I was just about to give you a bunch of good stuff. Damn it. No, I'm just
There you go, Jay.
That really scared
Jay,
me.
now he's not going to respond to your DM.
Yes, you will.
Yeah. No, I will. I actually respond to everybody usually in DMs. Although I did put out the other day, I said, should I do whitewash or poly on this wood? And I think I had about 500 and some people messaged me back, and I was like, I can't respond to you guys. They're all like, I was like, I love the fact that you all have been so kind to me and like giving me an opinion, but I was like, I can't do this right now. Like I can't get through to everybody. So, but yeah, but anyway, to answer that, Jordan, I think I'm glad that you've been able to see through it. And, over time, like I'm glad it's people have caught on to it too.
I really do think it shows her character though, because as like she has really not hidden her opinions and her interpretation of what has happened, and you really have to stay quiet and stay true to yourself, and not went out of your way to disparage her character, which you can't say about her. So it says a lot about you.
One thing I do want to say too is like, regardless of my relationship with Hannah and how I feel, I hope that like I don't wish anything bad upon her, and like it actually like rattled me when I saw a lot of people giving her a hard time. Like I feel really bad, like in that sense, because like just because she treated me poorly and has said a lot of things, like I still have empathy and I'm a decent human being. Like I'm not like, and I want her to be okay, and I don't want people to be mean to her. But you know, it's I guess sometimes too, like you reap what you sow. Like things are gonna it's gonna happen, you know, and hopefully you grow from that. You know, but I hope that I wish her well for sure. So
yeah, it's wild though, because usually when you have drama with someone, you just talk with your group of friends, but now you're on a reality show and you have to tell the whole world how you feel. So
yeah, I'm not very good at telling people how I feel. Like I said, I keep things tight to my chest, and a lot of times it ends up biting me in the ass.
Luke, you did a great job tonight, though. You did a great job tonight.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate it.
Before we do wrap up, we've got sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna ask if you guys ever come down to New York when this COVID shit's all done. You guys haven't been vaccinated, I take it yet, probably. Right?
I got vaccinated.
I have.
Wait, what?
We all have.
You have?
First shots, yeah.
Oh fuck, that's awesome, man. Because everybody well, not everybody, but like I talk to a lot of Canadians on like that'll message me. Like I love it. I love the Canadian like fan base, like such good people. I fucking love you guys. So
Apparently we love you too.
Well,
Jordan's a big.
You keep blowing up my spot. I don't appreciate it.
I mean, northern Minnesota itself is almost an extension of Canada. Like my hometown is farther north on the map than Montreal is in Canada. If you look at it, it's like ridiculous. We're way up there. But I love it. They were telling me though, they've been saying like, oh, I haven't been vaccinated, or we're like steps behind like you guys. So to hear that you guys have actually got your first shot, that makes me really happy. Because like
I literally got mine yesterday.
That's awesome, man. Good. You feeling good? You feeling okay?
Yeah, I feel good. A little sore, but fell down the stairs yesterday before the vaccine, so that's hurting me a little bit more than the vaccine. So
are you serious?
Yeah, I took a little tumble yesterday morning. I got a bad knee, and I just my legs don't move as fast as my brain thinks they move. So took a little tumble yesterday.
Yeah, we're not getting any younger. Let me tell you, I feel it.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine actually, and it was really interesting because I got it, and then all of a sudden it was like all this shit came out about it. But I was supposed to get Pfizer, and then I'm too impatient. I'm like, I don't want to. I just want the one and done and be done.
Maybe you can get it at this point.
What's that?
Yeah, I was gonna get whatever one they were gonna give me that day. It just happened to be Pfizer, so I guess I got lucky. But to me, it didn't make a difference. I was just gonna get whatever one.
I got Pfizer too.
So you guys all got it though. That's good. It makes me happy. Because I was gonna.
Well, maybe we will see you down in New York one day.
Yeah, man. Or like I'm dying. I feel like I'm dying to get up to Toronto for a hockey game. Like my buddy that I coach I give lessons to in hockey. That's from up there. He's always like, yeah, you got to come up, man. He's like, I'm looking at buying a cottage up there and stuff. And if I get that, you'll have to come up. And I think a weekend up in Toronto would probably be a lot of fun. So
I'll extend the invite now. I have season tickets to the Leafs, and me and Georgie got Raptors as well. You come up to Toronto, we will take you to a game and be our guest. Nothing like a Toronto Maple Leaf game on a Saturday night against an original 6 team. It's electric in there.
I bet it is. And a couple good Molson Canadians or something like that, I feel like.
There you go. A couple Kingsville breweries and Cottage Springs. Those are our sponsors. So
is it really?
Plug that at the end.
Oh, yeah. Get after it, man. Do that.
Luke, we want to appreciate you coming on. I want to thank you. We've got 2 questions we always ask. The first, if there was a movie about your life, who would you want to star as you?
Oh, wow. That's a fuck. Probably. Does it have to be right now, or could it be?
No, anybody, any point in time.
Oh, man. Really, it's hard. There's so many actors that I love. I would probably say I'm a big Ed Norton fan. I love him. I love his acting. I love him. But I would say maybe Robert Redford.
I was literally just thinking he's going to say that. I swear on my life. I literally swear on my whole family's life. I was thinking that.
Yeah, I'm a big
fan
of Robert Redford, and I think that would be a good choice. And yeah, he's awesome. A lot of respect for him.
Love it. Georgie,
last question. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh, wow. I've never thought about that. Probably to enjoy the little things and enjoy everything in life, like really the little things, because before you know it, you're almost 40. You know, I really I think about that sometimes now. I'm like, fuck, I took that for granted, or I didn't really realize how much, how cool that was. Cause you just, when you're young, you don't think about those things. So probably to enjoy the little things and not take things for granted, for sure.
Love it. Luke, if people want to find out more about you, what you're doing, your brand, everything, where can they go? How can they find you?
My Instagram is just at Luke Gulbranson. And then my website for my clothing or my company is just rcoshop.com. And I have a Twitter. I think it's like at Luke Gulbranson, maybe. I'm not on Twitter a whole lot, just sometimes. So, but yeah, that, and I guess that's really the only place you can find me, unless you know my address. You can come out to the lake house.
That's it. Jay's trying to get an invite up already. Gosh, Jay, at least wait till we finish the call. No, but Luke, honestly, thanks for taking the time. Obviously you don't do this a lot, but we appreciate you coming on and chatting with us. It means a lot. We love it. Your fans in Canada will definitely appreciate this as well. And we hope to hear from you soon. We're definitely going to tune in for part 2. And other than that, I think, thank you again.
Yeah, I love it. You guys are great. Honestly, I really enjoyed talking with you. I'd be happy to come on anytime. Just reach out. I'd love to chat with you guys more anytime.
Love it.
It's been a lot of fun.
Love it. Appreciate it.